Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to our show, Our Issues Birmingham. Today's guest is Karla Khodanian. She's with the Birmingham Business Alliance. She's their Chief Communications Officer.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
You did. You nailed it.
How'd that happen?
Oh, well, it's a funny story.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and how you ended up in this position.
Yeah, well, all my life, I feel like I was born to be a communicator. So I am the child of immigrants who came to this country back in the 80s. And they planted roots early on in Los Angeles, California, but somehow found their way to Huntsville, Alabama in the 90s. And that's where I grew up. So
you're talking about the 1980s.
The 1980s.
Mine was in the 1890s.
So mine was the, they landed in Huntsville in 1990. So I'm first generation Armenian American. I speak the language and everything. It was technically my first language, but my father was in the jewelry business. He was a wholesale jeweler, and he really had his dreams set on becoming a retail jeweler. And over time in Huntsville, he was able to establish a retail jewelry business called Gary K. Jewelers. And I grew up working behind the counter, learning how to talk to people. And I knew one day that that's what I wanted my career to be as well, as something where I got to connect with other people, share a message, make meaning in their lives. And so I went to UAB for college. And it's funny, I never wanted to end up in Birmingham, but Birmingham found its way to me, and I majored in public relations. And so over time, I've worked in different marketing and communication agencies. I've worked in startup, and I worked for myself, and all those paths crossed to lead me to BBA 4 years ago. And I've been in my current seat at BBA for about 2 years, leading this function of the organization.
Now, tell the audience what BBA does.
Yeah.
It stands for Birmingham Business Alliance. And you're probably reading that right now down by my knee. But what do y'all do?
Yeah, so Birmingham Business Alliance is a regional economic development organization, as well as a regional chamber of commerce. We serve as the City of Birmingham's Chamber of Commerce. And we exist to help businesses start, stay, and succeed in the greater Birmingham region, so the 7-county metro area. We do that in a lot of different ways, but our primary bread and butter is through job creation and capital investment. How do we bring more companies into our market, grow more jobs here? How do we work with existing companies to grow jobs here and keep them here as well? And so that's, at the top of what we do, but throughout it, there's public policy is a very big part of it. Marketing and communications, which is what I know and love, as well as programming and events, small business support. We exist to really make sure that the Birmingham business community has a home, and that Birmingham as a whole is a great place to do business.
And how do you go about attracting those people to Birmingham?
Oh, well, that's where I come in.
I know.
Business development is really, really critical. There's 4 key components to competitive job creation: location, labor, cost, and marketing. Every time a site decision influencer or a business executive in another market is making considerations about where do I put my jobs, they're going through those 4 factors. Where is it going to be? What's the talent pipeline look like? How much is it going to cost for me to do business there? But really, why should I do business there? The story. And that's the part, obviously, that energizes me, because perception is everything. You make a first impression before someone gets here. And so a lot of what we do is...
that and lighting. Lighting is important as well.
Yes. Well, and a lot of what we do is, in a lot of ways, we have a team that travels around the country to build relationships with these site consultants and influencers and executives. But we also have a team that works on marketing and sharing the story and telling the story of the greater Birmingham region. Because if we don't tell our own story, someone else will, and we won't like it as much.
Yeah, well, that's what I was wondering. How do you find the bit you're trying to grow business?
Yeah.
How do you find the businesses to get them to come here?
Yeah.
How do you locate them?
Yeah.
How do they locate us?
There's a lot of ways, Tommy, but I will say relationships are the lifeblood of economic development. The way you do business with one another and connect with each other from a local level to a national level is really, really critical, because you never know which conversation will lead to that next opportunity. And so there's a couple of different ways, but I would say our business attraction team is traveling to develop relationships with site consultants, site selectors. And those site selectors are often who larger corporate entities hire to help do their searches to find the next location and consider where am I putting it? How much does it cost to do business there? What are the talent pipelines looking like? So on one hand, we're building relationships nationally, but it's not just with those decision makers. We're also building relationships nationally through a public relations and marketing campaign to make sure that the first impression of Birmingham has piqued someone's interest before they even get here, so that we can then be that first line of contact when someone is considering a relocation or expansion of their business.
So corporate America, on the other end of the spectrum, is looking for places to grow.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All the time.
Our economy is in a really interesting place nationally and globally. We're seeing something that's called the talent wars, right? Over the next few years, or over the past few years, where people have discussed, talent is moving not just to some place to go to college, but they're looking for places to build their careers. And they're not looking at states first, they're looking at regions. And so we're really trying to hit it from all different angles on how to bring that corporate interest into Birmingham, but also how to support our existing businesses here in Birmingham as well.
I'm going to ask you some more about that when we come back from break.
Great.
So don't leave me, all right?
I won't.
This is Our Issues Birmingham. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back to Our Issues Birmingham. We're talking with the Birmingham Business Alliance Chief Communications Officer, and she's enlightening us on what she does, what they do, and how we draw and attract development, economic development to the city of Birmingham and the surrounding areas. Birmingham has a sordid history, regretfully. That initially, I think people have some hesitancy when they think in terms of Birmingham because of that history.
Yeah.
Have you run into problems with that? Quite frankly, in my opinion, having grown up here, we're well ahead of the curve in terms of race relations than other cities, larger metropolitan cities, and other parts of the country that I see reported on the news, if you can believe what you see on the news.
Yeah.
I don't know that news is real anymore. I think it's all fictional. But anyway, how do you cope and deal with that? What do you tell these people?
That's a great question, and something we really have to keep top of mind when we talk about telling Birmingham's story. What Birmingham went through isn't actually that unique to just Birmingham, right? What was going on during the civil rights movement was something that a lot of different places around the country were dealing with, particularly in the southeastern United States. But what made Birmingham unique and what made us different and why we made those headlines back then was because Birmingham fought back. Birmingham fought for its people. Birmingham had a sense of resiliency. And we really carved our place out as a destination where you can make a difference here. We were the torchbearers during that time. And unfortunately, sometimes with being a torchbearer, you get a bad reputation, right?
Right.
And we've worked really hard, and there's some phenomenal leadership in this community across the municipalities, across the counties. And so I really think it takes people coming here sometimes. We often say that visitors are that first start of our growth loop, right? If we can get someone to visit here, we know there's a fraction of them that will want to stay here and can realize they can fulfill their potential here. And if we get those people to stay here, we're building a talent pipeline. Businesses love that. Businesses will get interested here. And as we bring in more business, guess what? More people want to visit. And so I think reckoning with our past, but really not being afraid to own it, that is a part of our story. And it is part of what makes us unique. Birmingham, I often joke we weren't supposed to be a town. We were a company town, right? And when the company,
mills.
yeah, exactly. And when the company goes away, so are the people, right? But the people stayed in Birmingham. And I think that is that through line. We have an entrepreneurial spirit here that is unlike anywhere else, and it really is what makes us unique.
Well, you use an expression I've never heard before, but a talent pipeline. Mm-hmm. How do you get into that pipeline?
Yeah.
For those that are out there wanting that job, that opportunity for that new company that's coming to town.
Yeah. There's a lot of different ways and a lot of different angles that we think about when we think of the term talent pipeline, but it's ultimately a way of thinking, where are the people coming from to work these jobs? We can recruit a lot of jobs into this market, right? But if we don't have the people here to work the jobs, it's a chicken or an egg scenario for sure, because companies want to make sure there's people there, but people want to make sure there's good jobs where they locate. So on one hand, we have the college system, right? We have talent coming to the state of Alabama and to the Birmingham region from across the country. And as well as our own students who are choosing to stay in state to go to college. So we're getting credentialed and degreed students who we need a chance to win them over so that they want to build their career here, right? Make sure there's entry-level jobs available to them. On the other hand, there's folks, not every job requires a college degree, right? And there's still good jobs to be had. And so oftentimes we think unemployment rate is actually really good for the state of Alabama, but as economic developers, we're not looking at unemployment rate. We're looking at the labor force participation rate. What that means is how many working age people are actually working, whereas unemployment rate is how many working age people who want a job have a job. We don't think that tells the whole story, but what tells the whole story is, are our working age people working? And if they're not, why aren't they? Unfortunately, the state of Alabama has one of the worst labor force participation rates in the country right now. And that is a huge opportunity area for us. And it can be for a variety of reasons. There's no one size fits all answer to this.
To why we have that.
Yeah, to why our number's so low. It's not a great number, and it does hurt us, but
might blame it on the baby boomers who allow their kids to live in their basements at age 30 and not have to go out and do what I did.
I think it's a broader issue with a lot of nuance, because sometimes it's people who want to work who can't because they don't have childcare, right? Or maybe there's a health issue or a disability that's keeping them, or even transportation and access to transportation. And so when we do our efforts in economic development and we do it well, it's really to raise the base of the standard of living in a place.
Do you go into the universities to try to attract these people?
We do activations at the university level. We recently hosted, I believe, Auburn University students. We've done Troy University, University of Alabama, and even UAB students to expose them to the opportunities in Birmingham.
And
they like it. I tell you, anytime we've brought in anyone, whether it's a 20-year-old or a 60-year-old into Birmingham who has not experienced it or seen it before, they always say their perceptions have shifted. Oftentimes we as locals think people might have a negative perception, but it's not true. Most folks have a completely neutral perception of our home. And as a marketer, I think that's a good thing.
I think we look better than we ever have.
Yeah.
And I thank those people that have agreed to light up Birmingham, because especially Sloss. I always wanted to light Sloss.
Yeah.
Finally, we got it lit.
Yeah.
So we'll be right back. Don't leave me. This is Our Issues Birmingham. Don't go away. Welcome back to Our Issues Birmingham. We're talking about economic development. We're talking about Birmingham and beyond. So Jefferson County, for example, which is just one of your markets. You said you had 7 counties.
Yeah.
Has 30 some odd, 6 or 7 municipalities, all of which have mayors, police departments, garbage collectors.
Yeah.
It's got to be the most inefficient way to run a metropolitan area that exists. So in addition to just Jefferson County, how are you coordinating these other 6 counties who also have, I trust, municipalities within them?
Yeah.
What do y'all do to deal with that?
Yeah, that's a great question, Tommy. You know, oftentimes when people
Every now and then I come with one.
Just one good one.
I just need one.
Well, so, you know, oftentimes when people talk about Birmingham, they say, oh, we're so fragmented. And they're not wrong, right? From a truly looking at a map, there is some fragmentation. But when we look at our metro as a whole, when we look at the greater Birmingham region, we are stronger than ever. There are more partnerships and opportunities existing within these 7 counties than ever before. Our metropolitan area is growing. Oftentimes right now we're hearing this conversation and this narrative about population size, and is Birmingham shrinking or is another market growing? The population of our region is more than twice the size of the next largest metro in the state, which is the Huntsville and Madison County Metro. And in economic development, that's what people are looking at. They're not looking at a specific city's population size. In addition to that, the GDP of the greater Birmingham region contributes $1 in every $3 to the state of Alabama. We are the economic engine of this state and one of the economic engines of the Southeast. So one of the things that we've embarked on at the Birmingham Business Alliance is how to educate and empower people on how to tell the story of the greater Birmingham region and how to create a unifying message. We are stronger when we operate as a whole. Now, there's a lot of ways that we won't be able to, right? But from a messaging standpoint, we can position ourselves to be one cohesive region on a map. And that's what talent is looking for. That's what businesses are looking for. That's just what any old person is looking for. Where am I looking that I can fit? And they look at Birmingham, right? But Birmingham is bigger than just one city. Birmingham is 7 counties and all that and more.
Well, you also have competing aspects amongst those 7 counties. Come here, don't go there, come here. How do you balance that?
You know, I like to think and frame of it as there's something for everyone in Birmingham. What is the lifestyle you're looking for?
When you say Birmingham,
I mean the
you're
Birmingham
speaking
region.
7 counties.
I am. I mean the whole region, and it's all.
Do you go as far as Tuscaloosa in including that comment?
So they're not, but we get a talent pipe. They're not formally in our metro area.
Okay. So we're talking Bibb,
Blount, Chilton, St. Clair, Shelby, Jefferson. I think we said
Etowah.
Etowah's not in our 7, but you know. I think there's something for everyone in this region, whether you're a business or whether you're just an individual looking to move somewhere. You know, what's the lifestyle you're looking for? What are the things that you value? We have a little bit of everything here, which is the beauty of it. Maybe you want to live in an urban center and downtown Birmingham is where you want to be, but maybe you want to be really close to amazing trails and green spaces. Well, Shelby County has a lot of that there. And so we really want to help showcase that, and we've recently launched a regional marketing branding campaign for the greater Birmingham region to give us a name and a message, right? To formalize that we are the greater Birmingham region. And for us, that campaign includes the 3 letters that we all know and love, BHM. Sounds familiar because it's the shorthand for our airport, right? It's also the shorthand for the Birmingham Hoover Metro. But as part of this campaign, we like to say that BHM stands for Birmingham Has More. Birmingham has more opportunities. Birmingham has more, things to do. Birmingham has more flavor. Birmingham has more
Good
access.
restaurants.
Great restaurants. Great restaurants. Birmingham simply has more. And so that's what we're trying to educate all of the economic development practitioners in this community with that message, but also the residents as well.
But beyond the residents, when you say launch to who?
Yeah. Well, I firmly believe with anything like this that locals, it starts with locals, the ripple effect.
So grow from
grow
in.
in to out. And so we're doing two things at once right now. So we're focusing on our local audience because locals have to say it, share it, and believe it. I want Birmingham Has More to be our version of Keep Austin Weird. I want that to be a
Is
phrase
that their
we
slogan?
It's one that came about, yeah, for Austin and one people associate. And I want Birmingham Has More to be that for us. And so on the local level, we're working on activating this message every way we can. And we've got great partners from Jefferson County and beyond who are really helping do that. On a national level, we're working with a national public relations agency, and we're constantly pitching stories about the uniqueness of Birmingham and our region to national media outlets all around the country. And so we know those headlines make a difference. We know getting mentions about Birmingham and our people and our talented people and our interesting things really makes a difference in sparking that interest in our community. And so that is what we're working on. Two things at the same time. One is a national outreach plan, but also a local activation as well.
And they're reacting. You're getting feedback.
Yeah, I encourage everyone to go check out our website, birminghamhasmore.com, where you can fill out a form at the bottom of the webpage where, in your own words, Tommy, you can say what you think Birmingham has more of too. We really want this to be something that everyone feels like they can be a part of.
Well, there you have it. Birmingham Has More. I'll let you weigh in at the webpage. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
We appreciate your information.
Yeah, it was a joy to be here.
This is Our Issues Birmingham. We'll see you next week.
Alabama Weather Authority. In your home, in your office, in your pocket. Constantly updated by your ABC 3340 weather team and available to you anytime, anywhere. Local weather from local experts. ABC 3340, the Weather Authority, working for you.